Right, welcome back to Brunch with me, Noreen Mayer, on this Monday morning. Let's turn to our next topic and guest of today. In the next 15 minutes, we're talking about students' mental health here in Hong Kong. And I'm really, really delighted to be joined on the program once again by Anthony Ngai, who is the co-founder and board chairman of Just Feel, which is a local group that provides social, emotional education support to students and teachers alike here in Hong Kong. Anthony, it's great to speak to you again. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm very pleased to be on your show again.
Yes, it's so nice to see you again. We are also live on Facebook this morning, so I'd love our listeners to join us. We finally got there. The connection is a bit shoddy, but it's great now. And I'd love for our listeners to join us there this morning. Noreen Mayer on RTHK Radio 3. So for some of our listeners who may not have heard about Just Feel, it's a really wonderful platform. It's a wonderful group. Tell us a little bit more about the work you do at local schools here.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to give you a very short introduction about Just Feel. Now, Just Feel in Cantonese is Kam Gong, and we are a nonprofit charity that was founded in 2018, and we focus on mental health for children, especially between 6 to 12, roughly around primary school. And our mission is to transform the communication culture at schools so that the students can improve their mental well-being.
Yeah.
And so far, we want to thank you for our supporters who have given us all the resources needed in the last couple of years, so that we have provided a lot of services to children's parents and teachers. And from one school, and now we are up to almost 20 schools this year.
Congratulations. I still remember when your group came to the program and made these wonderful cards about expressing feelings. That's amazing because, I mean, a lot of the times our vocabulary, even as adults, can be quite limited. You know, sometimes if we're feeling sad or angry, we don't even know that we're feeling frustrated. There's so many words in between that we don't know. And I remember those cards are amazing. I still have a set of them in the office also. So let's talk about children and the pressures, the types of pressures that they face. Your group works a lot with young children. What do they tell you?
I mean, in the last couple of years, right, COVID has really changed the educational landscape and how children interact with each other, both at school, at home, and outside. So what we observe is the stress has been building up for sure. Now, for several reasons, for different challenges they face, right? One, they have fewer chance to kind of explore their emotions internally. Second, they don't often see each other, right? There's no proper ways to engage with other students or friends, and of course teachers, right? And these all kind of builds up, in between. And right now, I think Hong Kong students are in a bit of stress, and it's difficult situation for both for the schools or teachers to deal with as well.
Yeah, and part of the issue is also teachers are, overworked as well. There's a lot of pressure that teachers face also. What sorts of trainings are available to teachers when it comes to handling the mental health and the mental well-being of young children in Hong Kong?
Yes, for Just Feel, we provide a slew of services for teachers and schools, right? I think the to start with, we start from the top. Make sure the principals are well trained or understand the theories behind it. We use a theory called compassionate communication, or sometimes it's called nonviolent communication in the US. This, it kind of filters down from the top all the way to the department heads and also the teachers.
What's
And
that
in terms of
exactly? Compassionate education. What's that
Oh
exactly?
wow, it's gonna take me a long time to explain. But it's in a simple way is it's a way to communicate with your peers, and also that's for the external side, but internally is to understand, embrace your own emotions, and to understand what emotions like you're feeling. Like you said, you might understand, you feel some feelings, but you don't know how to express it. So compassionate communication includes 4 steps, but maybe it's too complex to explain to the broader audience here. But feel free to come to our website and also to workshops to know more. But going back to what we give, what kind of trainings we give to the teachers, you usually have 2 to 3 types. Now, one is sort of the theory about compassionate communication, so they understand what it is. And second is sort of workshops that they can attend. That because it's important that they have kind of role plays, they have small groups of discussion so that they can share information and also practices some of the best practice in the classroom. And third is to teach them how to teach. We provide a curriculum to schools and teachers that they can use in the classroom. But just having the material is not enough. You got to teach them different steps and also how to communicate. So the teachers get just a lot of these kind of workshops and trainings so that they can use it in the classrooms.
Yeah. Well, I think also the other part of this, the equation is also parents. And a lot of the times, parents may sometimes dismiss feelings or emotions, not because they choose to, but because maybe they've been brought up like that. Thinking back to our grandmas and our mum's generation, maybe a lot of times if we were feeling sad, I remember my grandma would used to tell me, oh, don't be sad, don't be something, don't be angry, rather than letting you feel the emotion like how we're trained to do. It's don't do that, rather. So how do we change, or how do we help parents make that shift as well?
Yes, I mean, in the last couple of years, we serve over close to 9,000 parents
Wow.
across all the schools.
Amazing.
So now we can't say we're the expert of because I myself as a parent, but I understand how, about bottling up your emotions and just, work at do your homework and study and things, right? But, I think the key thing is, have an open mind to start with. And I think a lot of the parents we train have a very open mind. And that's something that it helps the whole process to see, okay, instead of just pushing work through, pushing the homework and everything, but sometimes sit down to talk to your child and your kids. I mean, starting from within first. How do I feel when I talk to my child? Do I feel upset? Do I feel happy? Do I feel frustrated, or do I feel tired? And there's a whole stew of emotions that we have. That's why the card you're talking about, that really helps to, it's a good icebreaker that parents can have, and it helps calm them down as well, to just going through the deck of cards with 25 emotions and the needs. Those are very important. And once you kind of feel like, okay, these are the emotions I have, and they can talk to the children that way, and it takes out the anger and the kind of
Yeah.
the explosion out of it.
Yeah.
And once you have that, things are much more calmer, and it's more, the communication is connected.
Absolutely. And also the pandemic has also affected, I mean, we're at the tail end of it here in Hong Kong and globally speaking. But, the pandemic also had a lot of negative impact on parents' emotions as well. And children pick up on that. If parents are stressed, whether they can't, with work or whatever, student will often pick up on that. So how come, as a family, how can everybody work on their emotions to make sure that these emotions are not affecting everyone in the household?
Yes, I think that, so we understand that we know there's an increased conflict at home, especially in Hong Kong. We don't have the biggest space, right? Living space.
Everybody's
We have
Zooming or online class, work from home. Yes.
yes, work from home, study from home, and space is limited. I think we definitely understand that, and we see that this is often one of the conflicting points between the parents and the child. And so some things that we often do, we have this tool called the emotion thermometer. So we can put it at home, and we can check in with each other every day or during different times of the day. So on the barometer, it shows you different sort of emotions and different levels of intensity. So we can use that in the classroom, also at home. So you can you have a little
Mm.
magnetic sticker. Here's Anthony and here's Nori, and you put, okay, I'm up here. Maybe I'm very tired, or maybe, and you are very, maybe up here is happy, and maybe some other, your kids are somewhere else. And by understanding other people' mental states, it helps the conversation to start, because sometimes when we don't express it, and when you see something as a parent, you see something, hey, come on, do your homework, and you just
Go, go,
maybe
go.
exploded,
Yes.
go 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 go. But maybe child is is a different emotional state, and and they will feel like, okay, you don't understand me, you're just giving me more pressure, why don't you show other sort of care and things like that. But as a parent, if you see that, okay, your child has a certain level of emotions, then you can have a different type of response. And that's, I think, it's a very good starting point that helps parents can kind of engage with the kid, of the child, and of course, apart from these kind of tools, understanding different stages, different levels of emotions is also very important, which we teach it in our workshop for parents.
Anthony, that's a brilliant idea. I think I will implement the barometer system in my house because I have three kids, and often their emotions are all over the place. And I see that in their school as well. They do have that barometer, if you like, before they enter the classroom. They can put what their mood is like, and it's really quite nice to whenever we go on school visits, we can see where the students are at emotionally. I want to turn to an article that that your colleague Raymond sent to me, and that was earlier this month in the SCMP, that they reported that the suicide rate of children under the age of 15 has hit a historical high in Hong Kong, with 11 young people taking their lives. This is just tragedy. This is one too many. It really shouldn't really happen anywhere in the world, but in a small city like Hong Kong, it really hurts. As parents or even as non-parents, it's just not such great news. And I often wonder why it reaches this point where young children are taking their lives, and are there any warning signs, and what can we do as parents, as teachers, as their caregivers to spot these signs?
It is
Sorry,
yeah,
yeah, I'm
very
a bit,
sad.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
such an emotionally charged topic, so thank you
yeah.
for commenting on it.
And yeah, it's I'm very we feel very fortunate that the society is paying more and more attention to the mental health for children. And I think that's one of the first step. And thanks for RTHK and other media for sort of highlighting the issues instead of bearing it down among other news, or just taking it as in, like you said, no, don't worry about it. There's no problem, right? That's the worst way to deal with it. And highlighting it doesn't mean it's doesn't. But the media or the society highlighting this issue is not a sign. It's not a sign of weakness. It's actually that shows that we care about it,
Yes.
that we want to make sure this thing doesn't happen, or this thing reduces the frequency and the numbers. But talking about it is very it's an intense issue. But I think as Just Feel or as parents, I think the first thing, I think there's a few things we can do. First is to understand our own emotions. A lot of times, people feel stress or anxiety or depression. You don't know about it. You don't know how you feel. You just don't feel well. And to understand it, to embrace it is the first thing. Second, like what we said, the compassionate communication is a connection. Is communication to tell people who we trust. But I think that one step behind it is for parents and teachers to build that trust. That's why we feel like our core mission, our core actions, programs is to build a compassionate culture within the school. Is to build that trust between the parents and the child, and build a trust between the teachers and the child, so that they can talk about it. If they are in distress, if they're in issues, the teachers can know it earlier, or the parents can know it earlier, that they can find help. We don't, we do a lot of work on prevention, and that's our core kind of actions. And we don't want children to go through the whole step into intense and whatever category one intervention where we have to see psychiatrists and doctors and things like that. We want to keep the surfaces in at the prevention level, and prevention requires a lot of care, requires a lot of open mind, requires a lot of education and understand yourself, and also understand what your child and what the student is saying. One end is to listen, and another
Mm.
end is to understand and have an open mind. Okay, these are some of the issues they might face, and show empathy. I think those are some of the steps we encourage people around us, our parents, our teachers, our schools, and also students, and of course, other the society at large.
Yeah, you mentioned so many great points there, Anthony. And one thing in particular is, you mentioned listening. That's so important, and it's, active listening. Because I think a lot of times, as busy parents, we go home and we maybe sit down, do the homework, and have dinner. But how many of us actually carve the time to sit down and to listen to what our children want to tell us about? So, how can we do that? Can you share some tips? And should we be sharing about our own day as well? Because I find that the kids love it when they hear when I have problems at work, and they say, Mummy, did you have any problems with your email today? And I say, yes, I did. I couldn't figure it. And I hope by sharing that with them, and to tell them it's okay to have problems. We all have problems, with the things that we're facing. What's your take on that?
You hit it spot on. And for us, for Just Feel, the our beneficiaries and our target audience are blue collar parents, based in, let's say, in the New Territories, Taiwan East. So they have a very busy lifestyle. They work probably longer than anyone else here, 12, 14-hour days.
Wow.
And I think this is tough for many parents. But I think you're right. For us, we some of the exercise we teach people, parents to do, is to talk about themselves first. That opens the door. You can't just ask the kids, how are you doing? They will say fine. How's school? Great. How's homework? I'm finished. That doesn't usually the low quality sort of a conversation. But sometimes starting from yourself first, from again, I think you said you don't have to talk about great things all the time. You can talk about challenges, difficulties, the ups and downs of life. I think that's very important. And by doing that, you encourage the child to open up also.
Yeah.
And we also have one tool that we have. It's called a emotional journal. That on one is a 30-day journal. On one side is the parents write their emotions and the feeling and the needs and things that they want to share. On the other side is the child, the children. So they write their own emotions and needs and events. And then we make it very fun to have, and it's colorful, and there's lots of diagrams. You don't always have to write words. You can just draw sometimes. So it kind of encourages you to express your inner self. And once you have both sides, so it's good to share. So the kids can see the parents, and the parents can see the kid. So it's these kind of tools that helps as a Kickstarter. And like I said, it's a 1 month journal, and hopefully you can do your own later on, and hopefully you can you don't need the tool as a Kickstarter or icebreaker to do it on a day-to-day basis. I do it with my kid. We draw sometimes. I mean, she's very young. She's only 6 years old. She won't write an essay or whatever, but so we draw some pictures and make a few words here and there. And sometimes it's for parents, especially in the Chinese culture, it's hard to say "I love you"
Yeah.
in Cantonese, but writing it out, drawing hearts and things like that. Heart is easy to draw, so we do that a lot, and something like that will help build that that let your child know that you care about them and you love them, and I think that goes a long way.
Absolutely. I don't know if you can see this, but I have a little pink heart on my wrist that I drew with a pen today, because my two girls, when they go to school, they really just miss being around me, and then so we draw a little heart on each other's wrist, so that this way, if they're ever feeling a bit, if they miss me, they can just see the heart. But it's just something small like that can often connect all of us when we're so far apart. Finally, Anthony, I want to end a point about measures that can be taken. If we notice negative emotions in the children, in the young people in our lives, what should we, or what can we do, and how can we help them?
I think one of the first thing, at least in compassionate communication theory, is we try not to judge about negative emotions or positive emotion that well, because sometimes a lot of parents in Hong Kong or Chinese culture, you're feeling upset, like you said, don't feel upset. You're angry, don't feel angry. And all these, or you feel nervous, don't feel nervous or shy. All these things you're trying to don't all
Suppress
these
it.
different
Yeah.
things. Right? Yeah, there's no negative emotion is not bad. We don't judge good and bad emotions. An emotion is neutral, right? We have a whole spectrum. We identify 36 emotion in our cards, but there are 400, there's many more. So we embrace it. So allow your child or yourself to express it. Let them know that you have negative emotions. As a parent, I'm here to support you, or we are here to support you. Me and my wife is here to support you, and we can talk and see what are the issues at hand. It could be, and we're not always trying to solve the problems. I think
Yeah.
sometimes parents actually try to solve the problem. Okay, you have this. Oh, you're not getting an A, or you're getting 92 points on your exam. You're feeling upset. Okay, let's think about the solution. Let's do more exercise. You go to school. You go to whatever. So try not to jump into those. Okay, solving problems. That's the first step. Is to listen and show up. We are here to help. What can we help you? And because maybe they just want some encouragement. They don't necessarily need like a pill. Okay, take this and you'll be solved. You'll be 100 points tomorrow. So that's something that I think the first step, trying to not to label emotions positive or negative or good and bad, and also not to try to jump to solutions. Let the child, let yourself to sort of walk you through understand it, express it, and we can just be here next to you and help. And a simple hug will do a long way as well. We don't always have to. Okay, you're 92 points. Let's get some tutor, and I think that's something we can as a starter. I think that would be very useful.
Absolutely. That's such a great way to look at it. That, no emotion is sort of final. Sometimes we go through the waves of life, the ups and downs, and all these emotions will pass. Well, Anthony, I thank you so much for joining us. Remind our listeners once again, have you got a website or social media? How can we find out about Just Feel?
Yes, we have several. We have our website, justfeel.hk. We have our Facebook and also Instagram, also just feel, 感講. Sometimes you have to type the Chinese word as well. 感受, 感 is a feeling, and then 講 is communication. And of course, you can sign us up on your newsletter on the website. And I think the key thing, the one biggest takeaway I want to end
I'm afraid we're
the
out of
conversation
time
today.
now, Anthony, but
Okay,
we'll invite you
so
back again next
connection
time.
before solution.
Thank you.
Thank you.
RTHK News.
It's 11 o'clock. I'm Sean Kennedy.